like a nice brisk jog in the morning, isn't it, to get the blood going?
Well, you know, outfield is always in good shape. You know, we run in spring training more than pitchers do, Tom, and...
Now, wait a minute. You don't run more than pitchers. No way.
Are you kidding? Those 10 sprints we do all the time?
We're doing anywhere from 15 to 25, and you guys got to do 10 a day.
I bleed for you guys, you know.
You must have stayed in good shape growing up in Oakland as a kid, I'll say that.
Well, I tell you, in Oakland, I never stayed at home. And I tell you, when I got to be a professional baseball player, it was a real pleasure to play on grass and dirt.
Why?
Because, well, in Oakland, we played on asphalt. And I still have the scars to prove it. And we slid, and we played, and we dove head first, and enjoyed ourselves and thought nothing about it.
1956, you came to the Cincinnati Reds and had a pretty good year, didn't you?
Yes, I did. It wasn't too bad. I came to the Reds at a good time. They needed an outfielder at that time, a left fielder, and I fit the bill.
In 1956, 20-year-old Frank Robinson joins the powerful Cincinnati Reds. The slugging outfielder leads the league with 122 runs scored, bats .290, and belts 38 home runs, only one shy of the record for a National League rookie. An all-star in his first season, Frank Robinson is a unanimous choice as National League Rookie of the Year.
It was a tremendous experience for me, Tom. From number one, you know, at the beginning of the year, they had picked Aparicio as the favorite to win it. I was mentioned in there, and Charlie Neal also was mentioned in the National League, Aparicio in the American League. And to win it was a great thrill, but it was an easier year for me.
Your first 5 years in the major leagues were very good for you personally. But the team, you know, they almost got there, but never won the National League pennant.
Well, we needed pitching, really. We always had the hitting. You know, we were losing games 10-9, just a little opposite of what you had when you first came up. We were losing games 10-9, 15-10. We could score some runs, but we couldn't hold them. You know, they would kick the extra point, and we would get ours blocked. So we needed the pitching. And then along came Jimmy O'Toole, Joe Jay with a trade, Bob Perkey, people like that, and we started to win then, and we got a little bit more respect in the league.
The Cincinnati Reds put it all together in 1961. Fred Hutchinson is the Reds' able skipper, and Frank Robinson the offensive leader. In his sixth season, Robinson hits .323 with 37 home runs and 124 RBIs, and is named the National League's most valuable player. The surprising Reds win their first pennant in 21 years and go on to face the New York Yankees in the 1961 World Series. The inexperienced Reds are simply no match for the Bronx Bombers. Yankee southpaw Whitey Ford sets a World Series record of 32 straight scoreless innings, shutting out the Reds in games 1 and 4. Roger Maris adds to his record-breaking 61 home runs as he leads a barrage of 7 Yankee round trippers. The Yankees take the World Series 4-1 over the shell-shocked Reds.
I think we were just awed by the whole thing. It was the first time that just about all of us had been there, and we didn't know what to do. You know, we showed up, though, but we didn't know what to do. And the Yankees were the big guys, you know. They were favored, the glamour team. They had been there before. They were supposed to win, and they did.
Frank, incredibly, after all those good years in Cincinnati, the Reds decided to trade you in what some people have called the worst trade ever made.
Well, it took me back almost complete surprise, Tom, because 65, I thought, you know, I'd had a good year, but then all of a sudden in the off-season, I got a phone call and say, you've been traded for Jack Boshin, you know, and Dickie Simpson and Milt Pappas. And, you know, thanks for everything. And I was saying, wow.
Thanks for 10 years.
Yeah,
right?
what happened, you know?
What was the reasoning for the trade?
Well, the reason was Bill DeWitt said I was a troublemaker and I was an old 30 and I was injury-prone and always hurt. So that's why the trade was made.
I don't know about you, but my old bones are getting stiff. Let's get a little more exercise.
Why not? You know, I was determined to go over to Baltimore and prove to Baltimore that they had made a good deal and to show Bill DeWitt that I could still play baseball. I knew I could play baseball. I was only 30 years old.
enough jogging for one day, Frank.
You have.
Sit down by the pool, relax here for a while.
But not too close to it.
Your first year over in Baltimore, I know you had something to prove, was one of the most phenomenal years that any baseball player has ever had.
Well, everything just worked out perfectly, right from spring training on.
After coming so close in 1961 to beating the Yankees in the World Series, you go play the Dodgers. I know it must be a great feeling for you.
Well, it was, because after the 61 series, the idea was to get back into another one as soon as possible, and time was passing, and, you know, you never know if you're going to get back in another one or not.
The 1966 World Series pits the Los Angeles Dodgers against the American League champion Baltimore Orioles. In the first inning of the series, Dodger ace Don Drysdale faces American League Triple Crown winner Frank Robinson.
Long fly ball, deep left field. It's got that good look. It is going, gone.
It's Frank Robinson's 50th homer of the season, and the American League batting champ leads the Orioles to a 5-2 victory in Game 1. Game 2 of the series goes scoreless into the 5th inning, when Dodger center fielder Willie Davis makes 2 straight fielding miscues, opening the door for a 6-0 Oriole win. The series moves to Baltimore for Game 3. Wally Bunker spins a 3-hitter for the Birds as they move to within 1 game of a series sweep. The 4th game is in Baltimore, and it's a scoreless tie going into the bottom of the 4th inning.
I came up to hit, and the first 2 hitters in that inning hit the first pitch. So now he has 2 outs with 2 pitches.
Right.
And I was on deck, and I said, I should take a pitch. And I was walking up to the plate. And once I got in the batter's box, I changed my mind. I said, no, I'm going to look for a pitch in a certain area. If he throws it there, I'm going to take a cut at it.
Drysdale's wind-up. The pitch to Robinson, swinging a long drive to deep left field. It's got a chance. It's out of here. Home run, Frank Robinson. His 2nd of the series, capping a phenomenal season. He gives the Orioles a 1-0 lead. 9th inning. Dave McNally trying to wrap it up for Baltimore. Fly ball into center field. This could be it. Paul Blair is there. He's got it, and the Orioles win 1-0, completing a 4-game sweep over the Dodgers. The Baltimore Orioles are world champions.
I'm very proud of it, too. You know, you walk around with that ring, you know, and everybody, you know, what is that, you know, the championship ring. And that's what really it's all about.
You won the Triple Crown, and then postseason, most valuable player, and you've won now most valuable player in both leagues.
My greatest accomplishment probably in baseball.
Winning
because
the
it just,
MVP in both leagues.
Right, because it just doesn't happen. You know, baseball's been going on for 100 years or more, and it just doesn't happen. And I guess I was given the opportunity by Bill DeWitt being traded to the other league when I was at the peak of my career.
1967 and 1968, you had some injuries, and the Orioles didn't make it, but in 1969, you guys won the American League pennant, and you got back in the World Series and played a team called the New York Mets.
Yes, I thought you were going to pass over that. You had to
You don't think I'd
one
pass
out.
this up, do you?
No, I didn't think you would.
To their misfortune, the Baltimore Orioles must face the amazing New York Mets in the 1969 World Series. Facing a hard-throwing right-hander named Tom Seaver, the O's ride a first-inning home run by Don Buford to a 4-1 victory in Game 1.
Drive to left field. Swoboda started in, then back, looking up near the wall, and cannot get it. Home run Buford as Swoboda falls down.
But then the magic of the Mets takes over. Stunning the Orioles with one incredible play after another, the Mets win the World Series in 5 games to complete one of the most unlikely success stories in sports history.
You weren't supposed to win against a ball club like Baltimore, but you did. And it was hard to take. It really was, because we thought we could beat you guys, and maybe that was it. Maybe we were a little overconfident.
That's exactly right. 1970, you're back in the World Series, but you didn't have to play a team like the New York Mets, and you did real well.
Thank goodness, too, you know. I think what happened to us in '69 in the series, made us more dedicated to winning in 1970. It might have been the best thing to happen to us, because everyone came to spring training determined to win again and get back into the series to take the shame away.
Wait a minute here. Wait a minute. We weren't that bad. We're a good ball club.
Oh, yeah.
You're watching Classic Sports Network. You're watching Classic Sports Network.
Still haunted by their loss to the Mets, the Baltimore Orioles show their true colors in the 1970 World Series.
Base hit between third. The foul scores run number 5. Swing ground ball, third base side. Brooks Robinson's got it, throwing from foul ground toward first base. It is in time. The pitch. Ball is hit to center field. Paul Blair going way back toward the warning track. Turns, looks up and has it as he hits the wall. And Baltimore has taken the first 2 games.
With the series back in Baltimore for Game 3, Frank Robinson faces Tony Cloninger.
Frank Robinson, ball 1. Cloninger back. Cloninger's been pitching strong.
Deep to center field. Back goes Cullen. 410 feet away. Home run!
Robbie's tremendous home run spurs the Orioles to a 9-3 win in Game 3, and the Birds near a 4-game sweep. The next day, though, Lee May averts a whitewash for Cincinnati with a 3-run homer, lifting the Reds to a 6-5 victory. In Game 5, the National Leaguers hold an early lead as Frank Robinson steps up in the first inning.
Merritt is dealing with Frank Robinson. Jim Merritt ready. Throws, comes back, long drive.
Deep to left field, looking up. Home run, 3-2.
Robinson's 6th career World Series homer opens the floodgates for the Birds as they make a rout of the 5th game.
Heading around third, he'll score, and the Orioles lead 9-3.
Sporting a 6-run lead, Baltimore's Mike Cuellar pitches to Pat Corrales with 2 out in the 9th inning.
It's a ground ball to third. Brooks Robinson.
The Orioles celebrate their 2nd World Series triumph in 5 years.
The champagne tastes good afterward.
Oh, delicious. It really did.
Another great moment for you personally was the 1971 All-Star game.
Well, it certainly was. You know, I read today and things where players are refusing to play in the All-Star game, but it was always a thrill for me to play in an All-Star game.
Tiger Stadium, the National League leads this All-Star game 3-0. Oakland's Reggie Jackson pinch hitting for teammate Vida Blue here in the 3rd inning. Doc Ellis into the stretch. The 1-2 pitch. Long drive into deep right field. Oh, watch that, baby. An awesome home run off the light tower. Reggie Jackson has pulled the American League within 1 with one of the longest home runs I've ever seen. Now 2 outs here in the 3rd inning. Frank Robinson facing Doc Ellis. Carew at first base. The pitch to Robinson. High fly ball into deep right field. Way back goes Aaron, and this ball's gone. Home run for Frank Robinson. The American League now leads 4-3. 35-year-old Frank Robinson has just become the only player ever to hit All-Star Game home runs for both leagues.
It was great because the American League won the ball game also, and it was an honor to be named the most valuable player in that game.
What kind of difference did you see as a player between the American League and the National League?
Well, I think the caliber of players, the top flight players, go a little deeper in the National League than it does in the American League.
Do you think one of the differences between the 2 leagues that there were, for many years, many more good black players in the National League than in the American League?
Well, there's no doubt about it. I think even to this day, there are more. That is the real big difference. The black players and the Latin players in the National League and in the American League. For some reason, the American League just will not go out and sign as many, or maybe the blacks and the Latins don't want to sign with the ball clubs in the American League.
Toward the end of your career, you were traded to the Cleveland Indians. It had to be in the back of your mind when you were traded to the Indians in September of 1974 that maybe they were going to name you as their manager. You've been preparing yourself in the Winter League in San Truce, Puerto Rico.
Well, that's true, Tom. You know, I wanted to be a manager when I was through with playing, and my career was coming to an end, and I did spend 6 years managing in the Winter Leagues at San Truce. And it was a little bit in the back of my mind when I was traded to Cleveland that it might happen if they needed a manager while I was there.
You knew your chances were slim, though, because you were a black man, right? There were never been a black manager.
No doubt about it. I knew they were very slim. As a matter of fact, in '69, you know, every time a job would open up and I'd been mentioned, you know, would you be interested in this job? And I got so sick and tired of hearing it and being asked about it that I told them I was no longer interested in managing in 1969. I said, I don't want to manage. All I want to do is finish playing and go. And as you said, my chances were very slim. And I didn't think it was going to happen.
Well, immediately right after the 1974 season, really a landmark decision in baseball, you were named manager of the Cleveland Indians. What were your thoughts at that moment?
Well, I hope that I can answer their questions and the questions that they'll have to answer this summer by the play of the ball club on the field. And this is what I really want to be judged by, the play on the field, and not by the inexperience of being the first, of being black. The only reason I am the first black manager of a big league baseball club is because I was born black.
You're watching ESPN Classic Sports. You're watching Classic Sports Network.
Opening day of the 1975 season, your first day as manager of a Major League ball team must have been a big thrill for you.
Oh, it certainly was. You know, coming out there, having 65,000 people there in your own home ballpark, giving you a standing ovation when you come out, introduced, giving you another when you bring the lineup card up to the plate. And the thing about it, I hit myself second in the lineup.
Who was the pitcher?
Doc Medage. Then he made a good pitch, low and away slider. And then the next pitch, he side on me. He made a mistake there. And, you know, I happened to just foul it off. Just got the bat out there and fouled it off. And I stepped out of the batter's box and I said, look, this man is not just trying to get me out. He's trying to embarrass me. He's trying to he's not even going to waste a pitch on me. You know, I said, I was showing my clippings. You know, I've hit over 500 home runs. So give me a little respect, waste a pitch.
Embarrass you in front of 65,000 people.
On my day, you know, and I said, I'm not going to let him do that.
Frank Robinson in his first at-bat as a player-manager facing Doc Medage. A pitch by Medage, swinging a long drive to deep left field. It is out of here, home run. Oh, what a dramatic moment for Frank Robinson.
It was a great feeling, waiting at home plate to pat me on the back, and the fans were on their feet cheering. It sounded like 60 million people instead of 65,000 people, and it was really a great thrill. But then I went back and bite my nails because the important thing to me now is to win my first game of managing the Major Leagues.
To win the game?
Yes, I did.
You got a good introduction of what it was like, too, didn't you?
Oh, yes, I did. You know, the stomach is churning. I said, wow, you never went through anything like this as a player. You know, gee.
Frank, you had a tremendous career as a player, most valuable player in both leagues, and a triple crown. You're also the first black manager ever in baseball. What do you feel is your biggest contribution to the game?
Well, you know, being the first black manager, it'll go down in history. You know, that's something that can't be taken away from me. But I think my contribution to baseball was my career, the way I played it, and the way I tried to carry myself on the field, and be an inspiration and a leader as far as the young people of America is concerned, especially the young black people, to give them something to look forward to and live for. And baseball has been good to me. And I don't know what I would have done with my life if I had not gotten into sports and baseball. But also, I think I've been good for the game also.
I don't think there's any doubt about that.